Hello students, so we are back again in our chapter Kingdom Classification. Today we will be discussing about Kingdom Plantae. Now this Kingdom Plantae, it includes all types of plants including red, brown and green algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. All those comes under this Kingdom Plantae. Now, this Kingdom Plantae, it's composed of plants that are autotrophic. That means that can prepare their, or those who are able to prepare their own food. And multicellular eukaryotes, they are not unicellular, they are multicellular. And eukaryotes means those organisms who have a well-defined nucleus. They have chlorophyll. As they have chlorophyll, that's why they are able to prepare their food. And their cells have a cell wall. Now this Kingdom Plantae is very important as it is a source of food for all other living things. This is a specialties in plants that they contains chlorophyll, they are autotrophic, they have a cell wall. Their cell is surrounded by another more outer covering that is called as cell wall. Kingdom Animalia. It includes all multicellular animals, including human beings. So there are some differences between Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Now this Kingdom Animalia, their cells are without cell wall and they do not contain chlorophyll. As they do not contain chlorophyll, so they are not able to prepare food, so they are called as heterotrophs. And majority of them shows locomotion. That means they are able to move from one place to another. Now, this Kingdom Animalia is divided or is grouped into two more groups, and they are invertebrates and vertebrates. Actually, this Kingdom Animalia is classified into two broad groups, and that are based on the presence or absence of backbone. Backbone is also called as vertebral column. They are divided on the basis of the presence or absence of backbone or vertebral column. They are divided into invertebrates and vertebrates. Now, invertebrates consist of those animals without a backbone. And vertebrates means those animals with a backbone. So, animals with a backbone will be called as vertebrates. Animals without a backbone will be called as invertebrates. So, invertebrates means those animals who lack backbone. That means they do not contain backbone. So, when they do not contain backbone, that means they are delicate and they are soft. And this includes most all types of insects, worms, aquatic animals. And these invertebrates are divided into 8 major phylum. They are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminths, Nemathelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata. These are the 8 phylums. Invertebrates are further divided into 8 major phylum or phyla. They are Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminths, Nemathelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata. So, at first we will be discussing about Porifera. Now, this Porifera means porous animals. Those who contain pores on their body. Now, the Poriferans are commonly called as sponges. They are the simplest multicellular organisms mostly found in seawater. So, they are mostly found in seawater, but some of them are also found in fresh water. It means very few are found in fresh water. Body is cylindrical and it's irregular in shape. This is the body of this sponge. This is the body is cylindrical and body is irregular in shape. They cannot move. That means they are fixed to the bottom of a pond or sea. And they have small pores all over their body. You can see in this figure some pores are seen here. They have pores all over their body. And through these pores, water along with oxygen and food enters. They cannot move and they have small pores all over their body. They have a single large pore at the top of their body from where the water comes out. You can see in this picture, they have single large pore. You have seen? Yes, they have a single large pore at the top of their body from where the water comes out. They do not have digestive, circulatory and nervous system. So, cycon, spongilla, these are few examples of poriferans. And this is the picture of cycon. Next, Coelenterata, which is also known as Cnidaria, and that means hollow animals. Now, these Coelenterata or Cnidarias, they are mostly found in seawater and a very few live in fresh water. They have a hollow tube-like body with one opening, and that one opening is called as mouth. And this mouth, the opening in the body, is surrounded by finger-like structures, and that finger-like structures are called as tentacles. And these tentacles help to catch food. See here, you can see this figure. First is a sea anemone, and the mouth is covered by the finger-like structures, and these finger-like structures are called as tentacles. These tentacles help these coelenterats to catch food. Their bodies are radially symmetrical. So, radially symmetrical means their body is divided vertically into two identical halves. Radially symmetrical means body is divided vertically into two identical halves. They can live in marine as well as freshwater habitats, but mostly they are found in marine, but very few are in freshwater. Respiration and excretion takes place through the process called as diffusion. Some examples like hydra, jellyfish, sea anemone. Platyhelminths. Now this term platyhelminths are also known as flatworms. Now they are mostly parasite. Parasite means those who get their nutrition from another species. So they are mostly parasites, and the very few are free living and are found in sea or fresh water. They are mostly parasites and they live on or inside the body of other animals. Why? To take food from them. Body is small, soft, flattened and unsegmented. Unsegmented means not divided into segments. Segments means parts. Actually, a body is divided into three parts: head, thorax and abdomen. They have unsegmented body. They do not have a body cavity. Body cavity is actually a fluid-filled space. Body cavity is a fluid-filled space inside the body that hold and protects internal organs. So this body cavity, they lack body cavity. They have one opening through which they take in food and also get rid of waste. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical. Respiratory and circulatory systems are absent. You can see here their body is bilaterally symmetrical, means body is divided into two identical halves. Some examples are tapeworm, liver fluke, planaria. So first is the picture of liver fluke and next is a planaria. Next, nemathelmines, which is also called as nematoda, and they are commonly called as roundworms. They are also mostly parasites. So roundworms they are found in fresh water and sea water as well as in soil, and mostly they also exist as parasites in plants and animals. They are commonly called roundworm. Body is soft, cylindrical, unsegmented, without a body cavity. So what is body cavity? A body cavity is a fluid-filled space inside the body that holds and protects internal organs. Their body is bilaterally symmetrical. That means body can be divided into two identical halves. They have a mouth at one end through which the food is pulled in, and they have anus at the other end of the body. Some common examples are ascaris, hookworm, then eelworm. Eelworm is a worm found in potato plants. So this is a figure of ascaris. Annelida, they are the segmented worms. That is, body is divided into segments. Their body is divided into segments which help in movement. They have a mouth and an anus with a well-developed digestive system. So the annelids have soft, cylindrical and bilaterally symmetrical body. They have a special organ for excretion, and that special organ is called as nephridia. They have a body cavity. They have well-developed circulatory system. Their body contains hemoglobin, which gives them red color. Common example of annelids are earthworm and leech. Arthropoda, animals with jointed legs. So these arthropods, they can be found in all types of habitat, and their body is divided into three regions: head, thorax and abdomen. Most of the organisms have three pairs of legs. The body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Now their body is covered by a hard outer covering, and that hard outer covering is called as exoskeleton. Most of the organisms have three pairs of legs, and this phylum has the largest number of species in the animal kingdom, and they are found everywhere. Common examples are scorpion, spider, crab, insects like ants, mosquito, honeybee, butterfly. They all comes under arthropods, means animals with jointed legs. Mollusca. These are the animals which have shells, and they have a very soft body. The body is covered with the shells. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are found in fresh water, sea water and also on land. Like the snails. Example is snails. Snails are found in fresh water as well as on land. Octopus is found in the sea water. So they are found in fresh water, sea water and also on land. They have a soft, unsegmented body protected by one or more hard shells. Their body is unsegmented. They have a soft muscular foot, and that soft muscular foot helps them in locomotion like snail. Echinodermata. Now, this echinodermata means animals with spiny skin. That means they have spines. Now, they are exclusively marine animals. So, this phylum consists of only marine animals. They are radially symmetrical body. They have sharp spines all over their body. They have a mouth on the lower side and an anus on the upper side. This is quite different from others. They have mouth on the lower side and they have anus on the upper side. They have a large number of tube-like appendages. And this tube-like appendages is also called as tube feet. And this tube feet provide locomotion or help them to move and to capture food. So, echinoderms, they are the exclusively marine animals. They have sharp spines all over their body. They have mouth on the lower side and they have anus on the upper side. They have many tube-like appendages called as tube feet that help them to move. That means that provide locomotion and help to capture food. They have mouth on the lower side and anus on the upper side. Some common examples are starfish, sea cucumber. So you can see this starfish or sea cucumber. They have spines all over their body. They have this tube. In case of starfish, if you see, they have a large number of tube-like feet. There is a tube feet are there. So students, I hope all of you understood this invertebrates portion. Next, in our next class, we will be discussing about vertebrates. So, we are finishing today here. Thank you.